All right, YouTube, my name's Doug Jenkins. I'm back with another video. This should be a really cool one. I'm going to shut this down. I just built this session, but I'm going to show you what we're doing, okay? All right, so I just shut Pro Tools. I'm opening up a software called Izotope. Everybody knows the name Izotope if you're in the music business. Okay, this one is one of those sleeper softwares that I have not been paying attention to. So when I was doing noise reduction, I was using a lot of the wave stuff, you know, plugins from SPL, Deverbs, things like that. And I was like, you know what, man? Somebody said, dude, you got to try Izotope. So a while back, a good friend of mine, we went in on a bundle and he gave me a good deal on it and all that stuff. So I was like, I never put it on the other system. I just never really used it. Now, I have done like forensic audio and things like that where it's all about noise reduction and sound and getting rid of noise. But this is what really happened. So I want to give some shout outs. I downloaded a program I've always loved. It was called Acid Pro. And then they had this new feature. And you could like take drums and take percussion and take things and pull it out of a song, and I was like, no way. Now me catching up as a musician slash producer, that was like, wow, that'd be cool. Like you could take the vocals out of this, or you could do this, or are you kidding me? So my good friend Sean's the one that told me about this. He's like, you have to check this out. So I want to show you how I prep a session using this technology from Izotope, because 90% of the work that we get consistently in the hip-hop field, or I would even say in the pop field, is mostly people that have created stems, or they've already printed it down, or they started with a drum loop from a company or Splice or something, and it's like they don't have the track outs. So check this out. So I'll show you what I do to prep my sessions to mix a hip-hop track. So if you want to send your stuff for mixing, or you just want to learn something from this video, that's what we're all about today. So I'm gonna go to my screenshot. Now check this out on screen. So I take the instrumental into a program called Rx, okay? Rx is Izotope. Now when I get into this program, I'm gonna find the beat. Okay, so this is the track he sent me. It's not a track out. I don't have the snare. I don't have the kicks. I don't have the bass. I don't have the piano on one or the lead on another. I can't really mix it. And what's discouraging is when you get these things and you're like, man, I wish I could just turn that bass up, or man, I wish I could just make those drums sound better, like give them more punch. But when I'm adding punch to the whole thing. If I'm adding bass to the kick drum. There's a give and take in that regard. So this is mind-blowing to me. So the first thing I'll do when you send me a hip-hop instrumental or a pop instrumental or a 2-track left-right stereo is I go to a thing called Music Rebalance now, and it doesn't take me a lot of time. What I will do is I will go in and hit separate, okay? Now I did this before the video to speed it up for video purposes, but what is the concept of this? This Music Rebalance will actually pull the vocal, pull the bass, pull the percussion, and then it'll make a stem of the other instruments in the song. That is mind-blowing. Okay, I want to tell you right now, there's not many software, I don't know of a software that does it to this degree. And if you do it right, there's some sensitivity things in there. You can get it to sound almost perfect. Almost perfect. You can hear a little articulation or a little bit of that. What you would hear if you put too much noise reduction on it, you can hear a little imperfection, but I'm going to tell you, this is the best I've heard. So I'll shut that down after I create those stems. Now this is what I'll do. I'll open up Pro Tools. So once we're opening up Pro Tools, we don't have to show you the screen yet. Then we get ready to do this stage, which is all of our hardware and stuff. So as Pro Tools gets going here, I want to try, let me see here. I want to try to use my cell phone without it interfering with that audio-wise. So I will go into a thing called, there it is. Okay, so courtesy of a good friend of mine, Freddie DeMarco, and some studios around my area. He's allowing me to use this. Now, if we do this session, we can work on this together. He has a amazing gear list. So if we hear something in your track that could be better, then we'll use it. But I want to show you this. So we'll take this session. Hold on one second. Let me open this while we're watching. So we'll take this session, and then the next step is prepping the stems that we created. So we'll prep the stems. Now, we've been using the 76 2A combo for vocals. It is iconic for vocals. It sounds incredible. That hits the SSL in the SSL compressor, so it's actually a channel strip. The channel strip actually is being fed. All this, the 76 2A, the SSL, is being fed by the Neve 1073s or the Porticos. So I pick and choose. I think you guys, that's good enough. So I'll pick and choose what we want the stem to do. So in this regard, with Freddie letting me so graciously borrow those, I can take those two pieces and I can say, okay, so what's the first stage? I want to take his vocal. And note to self, if you are going to send stuff, if it's a mono vocal, make it mono, because it saves us time, it helps us out, and we can just take and process. Now, what I do is, let me delete this track so I can show you from the beginning, is I will take the track that I'm working on. So if you see that on screen, so I'll take this track, this is a vocal, this is the hook, okay? I will duplicate it, and then I'll make active playlist not active, because I just want the track. And what I will do is I will color code these just to keep me organized here. Let's make them like hot pink just for the fun of it. Let's make them like this color. Okay. So I will take this, and this is how this works in my studio. And I will talk about routing in another video. I just want to get you guys to the understanding of how we work. So I will set the return track to out 3 and 4. In the way that my interfaces work, I have a Antelope Amari and a Pure 2. I still love the Pure 2. I love the Amari. The way it works is, let me explain this in depth. The Pure 2 is an incredibly easy to use mastering converter. So it has 1 and 2 out, then it has 3 and 4 out. 1 and 2 was designed to go to whatever one. You can make 1 and 2 the first 1 and 2, or the second 1 and 2. So there's 4 outputs. So what you can do is you can tell these 2 outputs are going to go to all my equipment, and then that returns back into my inputs of the Pure 2, and then the second outputs are my monitor. So if you look at the way this was set up, this is what is going to your monitor. So we are monitoring 3 and 4. Sorry, let me get back on the screen. I keep doing that. But this is what tells me what's going to my monitor, okay? So I can say 3 and 4 is my monitor. That's what we're monitoring from. So I set up everything I have not processed yet as 3 and 4. I leave the one thing I want to process as output 1 and 2. Now check out on the Pure 2 where this is. USB 1 and 2. This is the output. This is what we're sending to that second pair of outputs. So right now, my hardware is hooked up to output 1 and 2 of everything. Okay, now I have a second converter in the Amari, and we'll get into a video a little deeper into that routing. But that one has a setup, and that is dedicated to a certain amount of hardware in the studio as well. So I don't have to do as much patching, and I can just get to work and do it more efficiently. So output 1 and 2 is my processing channel, as you can see. So anything that I set as 1 and 2 in here is going to be processed through that 76 combo. The output 2 is a different combo for vocals or instruments. So we've really figured out what we like in the studio, and that's how we work it. So when we get back in here, is now this, when I hit input 1, it goes out 1, in 1, and now I can solo this. I don't have to solo it. I can play everything in context, and then you're ready to go. So now I'm processing his first vocal through that 76, and through that 2A, and through that SSL, and then I'll print it by arming and recording. and then I printed that track, then it's done. That's how we do it. Now here's the other thing before I cut part 1 of this video. You remember us doing Izotope. Now we did Izotope, so check out the first 4 tracks in this song. We have the bass, we have the instruments, we have the percussion, and we have the vocal. What we did was took that whole entire track and made stems. Listen to it, it's mind-blowing. So now we have the bass track, drums, and the instruments. And I bet you the vocal track was a tag or something. So this is what he sent us. Now watch what he didn't send that to us. We created that. This is what he sent us. If you solo this, that's the track. Okay, so this is the original track. There is no control over the tag. There's no control over the drums. Now, when we process something, I can do something really cool to this, like to this tag. I can go in, put in like a really cool reverb or something, and let's just do something like a 76, like a Purple Audio. And then I can add, let's say, this is just an example. I can go to this new auto tune. And then I can go, find the actual key of the song, but we're just going to do this for video purpose, so you can see the options are endless. Let's go to this Mike Dean doubler. This thing's pretty cool. So I can take his tag and make a totally different tag. I mean, now it sounds like a Future record. You can't do that. Watch what happens if I do that to the stereo stem. Sounds absolutely horrible. Can't do that. So that is how I'm going to end this first part 1. We take it into Izotope Rx. It's worth its weight in gold. We separate out the stems for a stereo instrumental, because a lot of the people that are buying instrumentals, a lot of the hip hop, pop, a lot of genres, a lot of the workflow today has come to that. So we'll do that. Then we'll take that, we'll run the 7628 or whatever gear we feel with the studios that are available in my area. And I really do go above and beyond to make sure it's the right thing. Shout outs to a kid that we just did a record for, amazing guy, and he got signed to a pretty big label. And he had a project he had me mastered. And I want to tell you about how I see audio. I want to work to make it the best I can. And I went up to the studio. It took me 45 minutes to get there, but he had a certain piece that would have worked well for this guy's final. And we have a cool little relationship going between all 3 of these studios. I'm the tech to some of these studios, so I can go up there and I'm not going to cheap out. If I know something can make your record better and it's worth it and the budget's, and we've worked out a pretty decent budget, I will do it. I will also be upfront with you. If it's like, dude, you're asking a lot to get done, and most of the time, I do my best to make the budget work for the artist. And I think this year, I've worked on more records this year than I ever have. And I looked at like the invoicing and stuff that I've worked on. And I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed that I get to work on this stuff and do this for a living. I think it was over like, I think last time I checked on books, like 4,600 records, like things that have been done or songs or stuff like that. And that blows my mind. Like, I've done that much, and that could have been projects, that could have been mixes, and just anybody that sends me stuff. I just wanted to say, out of all those, and I would love to do a video on like the psychology of this and like being rejected. And I think I've had one guy that just hated what I was doing. That was a rough time in my life. Some personal stuff was going on. And the guy just despised me. And I was like, wow, dude, I did the best I could, but I bit off more than I could chew. And it just wasn't working. And I just could not, I could not spend, 7 months on his record. So I want to do a follow-up video on the business side of this and what you should look for. And communication's king. I'm going to tell you, communication is the grand thing, you know, and, you know, I'm guilty of not communicating early on in my career, but you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say, hey, dude, you know, I don't think that's what I was looking for. Maybe could you do it this way? But the next thing I want to talk about in the next videos is communication, what I mean by that. And then just be confident in what you want as an artist. Like, say, hey, dude, I don't want it to sound bright. I want it to sound like powerful. I want it to have attitude. I want the bass and the drums to sound edgy. I want the vocals to sound atmospheric. I want this. In the more detailed you get, the better your mix is going to come out, I promise you. But if you don't have any of that in mind, I can give you, most of the time, I can get you in the ballpark. So out of those 4,000 and something projects, I think I've had, I would say maybe 15 of them where it was like, sorry, I don't like it. And, you know, how do you overcome that? And I want to talk about that in a video, because I think there's a lot of people on my channel that you know, that puts them out. You know, like some dude says something off the wall to you and makes you feel bad, and you're going, dude, I was just doing this because I love it. And a lot of people lose their joy in this business because of that. But I want to quit getting long-winded. That's how we do it. One more time, I'll show you on screen what it is. So I'll get to mix the bass, the other instruments, the drums, the vocals. This is his original beat. I'm going to make that inactive just so I know it's there, so I can compare to it. Then I have his echo tracks. I got his hook. I got the double we're going to do. That's the printed one. So I will usually call that hook print. So I can see that I printed it. And then I'll have this, and that's the stems he sent us. And there you go. So once again, my name is Doug Jenkins, imixandmaster.com. And if you want to send something out, we'd love to work on it. So just hit us up. But hopefully you learned something. If you're not trying to send it out, you learn that Izotope Rx is ridiculously awesome for separating out your stems if you need to. So we'll see you guys. I'm out. Peace. Do my stills still work? I don't think so. Nope. We'll see you.